Carles Puigdemont is free. Hello, and welcome to Catalan News. The deposed president of Catalonia left the German Neumünster prison today in the afternoon. He was released on bail following a court ruling that was a major blow to the Spanish judiciary, as Germany did not accept the charges of rebellion. In his first public appearance, Puigdemont demanded the release of his colleagues imprisoned in Madrid and said that it is a disgrace for there to be political prisoners in Europe. Guifré Jordan, our reporter on the ground, will give us all the details on the case. We'll also bring you reactions in Catalonia, Spain, and Europe, and we'll interview an MP in Portugal to learn what she's doing to raise awareness on the political situation in Catalonia. This and more on today's show. Carles Puigdemont, the most prominent figure of the Catalan independence movement, was freed today in Germany. This after spending 12 nights in the prison of Neumünster. The extradition petition by Spain could still be accepted, but only for misuse of public funds. And Puigdemont will be able to wait for the final decision while free. His release, just like his detention, has been a major story worldwide. We can speak now with Guifré Jordan, who can give us all the details on Puigdemont's release. Guifré, you saw it yourself. How was it?
Indeed, there was a huge expectation here outside Neumünster prison. Around 40 to 50 media professionals here were waiting for Carles Puigdemont to be released from this prison. He was released at 2 p.m. local time, but some journalists were here 8 hours before this time at 6 a.m. in the early morning. Apart from the media professionals, there were some local residents of Neumünster who wanted to witness this special moment for the town. Actually, some local journalists here told us that they had never seen anything like that in Neumünster with this amount of expectation. Apart from them, there was a small group of pro-independent supporters who wanted to greet and welcome Carles Puigdemont upon his release.
And so, where's Puigdemont now?
Well, Puigdemont's team announced that they were off to Berlin immediately after being released. They argued some legal reasons for that. We've spoken to the High Court and the General Prosecutor here in Schleswig-Holstein land, and they haven't confirmed these legal reasons. They've told us that they know the official residence of Puigdemont in the near future, but they haven't revealed us where he's going to stay for this extradition process that hasn't finished yet. So we don't know if it's going to be Berlin or Neumünster or any other place. It's been a very intense day here in Neumünster, and our colleague Neil Stokes has prepared this video.
After 12 nights in prison, Carles Puigdemont is free again. The deposed Catalan president left the Neumünster prison in Germany after paying the €75,000 bail ordered by the judge. In his first appearance just outside the jail, he called for the release of his colleagues imprisoned in Spain.
I claim for the immediate release for all of my colleagues still in Spanish prisons. It's a shame for Europe to have political prisoners.
In a highly unexpected move, the Schleswig-Holstein court decided to let him go free while awaiting a final decision on his extradition. More importantly, the court did not accept the charges of rebellion against Puigdemont due to the absence of violence. The crime, which carries prison sentences of up to 30 years, is the most severe offence attributed to pro-independence leaders in Spain. Germany's decision deals a major blow to Spain's efforts to extinguish the independence bid.
I always trust in European democracy based on the will of the people, separation of powers, peace and human rights. That kind of democracy is in risk in Spain.
The Spanish government, for the moment, is avoiding any clash.
Somos un Estado que se caracteriza por respetar las decisiones de los tribunales, cualquiera que sea el sentido de ese pronunciamiento, y esta vez pues nos comportaremos de la misma manera. Gracias.
Puigdemont once again appealed to Europe, but the response remains the same.
As you know, the Commission sees this as a matter that is internal to Spain. This is a matter which refers and pertains to the internal constitutional order of the Kingdom of Spain that we fully respect.
While the EU seems unwilling to condemn one of its member states, the United Nations is starting to raise its voice. Today, a UN Special Rapporteur urged Spain not to pursue criminal charges of rebellion against Catalan leaders, as the charges may interfere with rights of public protest and dissent. But Spain's judiciary might not be giving up. The Supreme Court is studying whether to appeal the German decision in the European courts. The government might also push for a reform of the extradition system in the EU, but neither are likely to happen soon, and nor would their success be assured.
Carles Puigdemont was detained in Germany near the border with Denmark. Spanish intelligence officials warned German police that the Catalan leader and his team were driving in their territory on their way to Belgium. But how did they know with such precision where they were? Belgian authorities are actually asking themselves the same question, and they're looking into whether Spain's security services installed a GPS tracker on Carles Puigdemont's car to follow the deposed Catalan president's movements. The car in question is the same vehicle Puigdemont was traveling in when he was detained by German police on his return to Belgium from Helsinki. A spokesperson for the public prosecutor in Brussels said an investigation is ongoing, but gave no further details except to say that it is being carried out by the prosecutor's office in Walloon-Brabant province, where Puigdemont was living.
There is some investigation ongoing, but it's not here. It's in the prosecutor's office of Brabant-Wallon. It's another region, because the house where Puigdemont was staying is in Waterloo, and that's not in Brussels.
Puigdemont is out of prison, but he's not the presidential candidate for the pro-independence forces to form a new government. He said that they should try to elect Jordi Sanchez, who's jailed in Madrid. The UN recently urged Spain to protect his political rights. The Speaker of the House has started a new round of talks to elect a new president. The main pro-independence party in Parliament, Junts per Catalunya, takes it as a given that the jailed activist Jordi Sanchez will be sworn in as president. Their spokesperson suggested today that there is an agreement amongst all pro-independence parties to elect him in the second round of voting. But with Puigdemont a free man, the far-left CUP party insists that he should be the one voted on, while the Spanish government warns that this does not make sense.
Fruit d'un acte de desobediència, avui Carles Puigdemont és més fort que abans. Avui és un candidat més legitimat internacionalment. Tothom el reconeix com a candidat a la presidència a nivell internacional. El moviment popular el reclama. La CUP està disposada a investir-lo. A què esperen?
Ese Parlamento es incapaz de presentar un candidato viable para asumir la presidencia de la Generalidad. El gobierno de España gobierna todos los días. Toma acuerdo.
The political situation in Catalonia has not gone unnoticed in many countries. Today in Portugal, a manifesto backed by more than 80 personalities was presented to call for the release of political prisoners. The event was also attended by some Catalan leaders. We have the pleasure to speak now to Isabel Pires, an MP for the Bloco da Esquerda. Hello.
Hello.
A German court decided to release on bail Puigdemont yesterday. What do you think this means at a European level?
I think that with this decision on the German court, first of all, it's a really hard blow to Mariano Rajoy government, and secondly, I think it's a call for European Union institutions to finally say something about what's going on in Catalonia and with the political prisoners being held in Catalonia. So I think it's an important first step to pressure European institutions to have a say finally about the situation.
Today, the Portuguese Parliament is holding an event dealing with the situation in Catalonia. Could you explain what's it about?
Yes, a few weeks ago, about 80 personalities of our country, politicians, deputies, academics, we joined to subscribe a manifesto that calls for the release of the political prisoners. And now we will have a small presentation of this manifesto, and we will have the presence of, for Catalonian, a representative from Esquerra Republicana, from Junts per Catalunya, and CUP, and someone from ANC. So it's an important moment for us to publicly reach out to our population and to say what's going on in Catalonia, what really is going on in Catalonia, and to pay our solidarity. And most importantly, I think, is that we have almost all parties signing this manifesto. So it's important to pressure our government to say something about the situation.
It seems like you're working to put Catalonia in the spotlight in Portugal. But so far, what have you achieved? What are the most prominent things that the Portuguese government has done? And also, how does the population of Portugal feel about the situation in Catalonia?
Well, as far as for the government, they have done nothing so far. about the situation. We have a few weeks ago, and when the referendum in October last year, we tried to pass a vote in the Assembleia da República to condemn the violence and now to condemn the existence of political prisoners, and they did not pass in the parliament, and our government so far just said that it's not Portuguese government business, it's an internal Spanish affair, so they won't interfere. But I think that our pressure is being important because the Socialist Party is divided right now and they are in the government. So we are trying to push harder so that these divisions will finally have a consequence in the government position. And I think that today, yesterday's decision in Germany might help this. And as far as our population goes, we a few weeks ago we had a demonstration in front of the Spanish consulate, and there was about 200 people there, and most of them were Portuguese. So I think that Portuguese people are realizing now more than in October, for example, that we are dealing with political prisoners, and for our country that we also have a hard dictatorship. It's symbolically it's very strong to have political prisoners, and people don't accept that. So I think that slowly, unfortunately slowly, we are being able to create a more aware public opinion about this issue.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
As you may know, this winter saw unprecedented snow throughout Catalonia, which was generally good news for Catalan ski resorts. Let's find out how this season went as resorts begin to wrap it up for the year.
The ski season in Catalonia is coming to an end. With just 2 days to go until all but one of the country's ski resorts close, aficionados of the slopes need to get their gear together quickly if they want to enjoy the last of the year's snow. Thousands of skiers have taken to the piste this year, and most ski resorts are hoping that the figures for this season match those of last year, when just over 2 million people donned their ski attire and headed to the mountains. Although, for some ski resorts, the weather was not always ideal, the outlook for the final results of the season remains positive.
Ha nevat moltíssim i això ha comportat que molts dies el temps no sigués el millor, no? Ha fet també molts dies de vent, molts dies de boira, i la climatologia en general sí que no ens ha acompanyat massa. A nivell de visitants encara no hem fet el resum final, però bueno, estem més o menys amb els números de l'any passat.
Last year, Espot and Port Ainet received 180,000 skiers. A fortnight into the season though, Espot had to close its slopes due to too much wind and snow. In some areas, snow thickness reached up to 3 meters. For La Molina, the second biggest resort in Catalonia, which celebrated its 75th anniversary this year, the snowfall came as a gift from the heavens.
Hem tingut el millor regal possible, unes nevades durant tota la temporada que ens han permès tenir l'estació amb unes condicions excepcionals de quantitat i qualitat de la neu.
The resort is hopeful that this year's figures will surpass 2017's record number of 330,000 winter sports enthusiasts. One Catalan ski resort has decided to buck the trend and will not be closing its slopes this weekend. La Masella ski resort will remain in operation until May the 1st. As for the rest, this Sunday will be the final day before the ski season ends for another year and preparations for summer activities get underway.
Moving on to culture now. We have some good news for all the cinephiles out there with the reopening of an old movie theater. After almost 2 decades of silence on the silver screen, the Las Vegas cinema in the northern Catalan town of Figueres has opened its doors once again today. The man behind its restoration is award-winning Catalan filmmaker Ventura Pons, and the first film to be screened at the cinema is his very own Misteli, telling the life of the famous Catalan artist through the eyes of his sister. It will reopen completely on April 20th, showing films in Catalan and original language with subtitles. So, to spark your sense of nostalgia, head to Figueres and immerse yourself in the history of this vintage cinema, and why not catch a flick while you're at it? It's that time of year again. A very important date on the comic book calendar is coming round, as the Catalan capital readies itself for the 36th edition of the International Barcelona Comic Book Fair. And there are some star names on the agenda this year. An increased exhibition space will feature Marvel artist and creator of Captain America, the King of Comics, Jack Kirby, as well as the beloved Super Lopez character and the boom years of comics geared towards adults from the 70s to the 90s. So far, there are 32 confirmed speakers for this year. Also invited are graphic creator for V for Vendetta, the scriptwriter for Hellblazer and Animal Man, and cover artist from Sandman, as well as many more. The event will run from April 12th to 15th at the Montjuïc Fira de Barcelona. Organizers hope to match last year's attendance of 118,000 comic book and graphic novel fans. And with this, we finish today's show. We leave you with some very cute footage of children in Catalonia playing traditional games and sports in Igualada, Europe's sports city of 2019. They do quite a good job. Enjoy, and see you again on Monday.